right, so a little background for those of you who have followed the show here. You know that I publish a lot of content in the car business, and years back I spent time in the car industry. I now get about 12,000 comments, emails, messages a year from car buyers all over the country. And sometimes there's some really unique stories that come through. And when a car customer gets basically screwed over in a very significant way, sometimes we like to bring them on the show here and talk to them. Well, we have the great pleasure of doing that today. We have a car customer by the name of Alan Russo. He comes to us out of Florida, and Alan is on the line with us. It's not very often that I see a car price go to a car loan of the type, how this all happened in your situation. So let's just start at the top. In fact, for our viewers on the back screen there, you see this is a 2015 Nissan Leaf that Alan bought from this dealership, Southern 441 Nissan. Now, Alan, you mentioned that this dealership is a bit of a drive away from your home area. What made you decide to go to Southern Nissan?
Well, I went to a dealership close by. It was on a 2013. I was a little unsure because of the stated range, and I thought I'd looked through Auto Trader. I looked at several advertised 2015. I thought I'd be better off with the 2015 and less miles. So I decided to take the drive up. It's about 60 miles to Royal Palm. It's near West Palm Beach, Florida.
Mm-hmm. So you made the extra drive, and because they had this particular vehicle was listed on the internet at $13,426. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct.
Okay. So one thing that I want to share for our viewing audience that happens very commonly when you look up a vehicle on the internet and you find an internet price, I always recommend that you print that off and bring it with you so that you actually have the evidence of what the price is, because a very common tactic that car dealers will do is change the price of the vehicle once you arrive at the dealership. And so this actually happened in your case. Alan, what was the price of the vehicle when you arrived at the dealership? Or what did they tell you it was once you got into the negotiation process?
They actually didn't. They didn't have anything marked on I don't believe they had anything marked on the vehicle. And only after I had gone through the whole process did I see, of course, all kinds of additional fees. And then they told me when I asked for an itemized, it was $14,426, that there was a $1,000 manufacturer's rebate, which they show as the real price of the vehicle. And then, of course, saying, well, we took that off, and that's how you got the advertised price.
All car buyers should know that a manufacturer rebate is paid out on a brand new car only. So they made a little bit of a story here about how this price came back down to the internet price. But anyhow, so they end up in the end honoring the price that is on the internet by subtracting out this $1,000 rebate that supposedly exists. Well, let's get a little bit into some of the nuts and bolts, because Alan was gracious enough to share with us the contracts and the documents, and we have excluded anything that would be private or personal information. But let's start by flashing the car contract on the back wall here. You got that document handy, Kyle?
Which one would that be?
Those are the long. It's
this
actually
one?
in 2 copies. No, it'll be the yellow copy. So here's the reason why. Alan, I'm assuming you had to take this in 2 pictures, because a car contract is generally a very long piece of paper.
Right. It's about 1.5 feet long, 2 feet long, yes.
Yeah, and the reason being is that according to state law, everything in your car contract is supposed to be spelled out on one piece of paper. And so because they add all these different things in typical dealerships, that's the reason why you have such a long piece of paper. Well, part of the reason I want to share this on our back wall is that none of the information, the breakdown of the fees and et cetera, none of that information is actually on this document. You see all the NAs all over this piece of paper. So Alan actually didn't get full disclosure on this document at all. So you see how long the piece of paper is. Scroll back up to the top, Kyle, and you see a price there then that shows $15,561.84. There's $700 worth of taxes that are listed on here, and then it shows a e-file fee of $279. I want to actually get into some of the breakdown on this because this, when you said that you wanted a breakdown of the fees, this is something they gave you after the fact, correct?
Exactly. I had to call and try to get the salesperson, and finally they turned me over to the finance manager, who emailed me an itemized breakdown, which it seems like he just put together himself, because I never saw it at the actual purchase of the vehicle.
Yeah, so he puts this together. Show the typed piece of paper that this is on. This is like, wow, talk about red flags and an unethical character here. So here's the itemized breakdown. Selling price $14,426. The CPO, for people that are unfamiliar with what CPO, this is a certified pre-owned fee that they added on top of the cost of this vehicle. So $2,345 for this certified.
What's that fee for? I mean, what could they possibly be charging? They're charging you $2,000 more for buying a used vehicle?
Yes.
And a certificate that says we went through it and it's okay.
Oh,
right?
now it's certified.
Now
pre-owned.
it's certified, right? Yeah. So that was $2,300, huh?
Yeah, an additional $2,300 for it being certified pre-owned. And so then this brings the total purchase of the vehicle to $16,771. What did they explain to you, Alan, about this CPO?
I recall asking when I responded to the price with the sales rep. They actually didn't tell me anything about it, because I never saw that price, $23.45. And asking the salesperson about it, when I sent him an email, I said there's a huge difference in the price, and he says, "Oh, well, there's things like the CPO of, I believe he said $299 or $399." Apparently, this included some type of extended warranty over and above the manufacturer's warranty, and that was all lumped in there. Also, he said that there is like restoration fee of the vehicle or whatever, and that was all part of that.
Okay.
But it didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, so the CPO is an extended warranty and this certified program that they put in there, which they didn't explain at all and just rolled into the purchase price of the vehicle. Let's go on to these other two things that are down below here, and I want to explain to our viewers what these are. Right below this purchase of the vehicle, it says $16,771. It shows electronic filing fee of $279, and then below that, a dock fee of $899. Well, I want to explain to people like what actually happens in the dealership relative to the electronic filing of this title transfer that goes from the dealer to the customer. This is nothing more than a couple of keystrokes by a person they have in the back room. And we had an opportunity to actually work with a gal inside of a dealership to see what happens specifically with this document fee. Well, the document fee that you typically see on car contracts by car dealerships all around the country, the document fee is essentially this electronic filing fee that they charge the customer to do the transfer with the state, so the title goes from the dealership to the car buyer. Now, in the state of Minnesota, this document fee is $75. Now, if you go, well, why would it be $899 in Florida? Well, here's the thing. In this dealership in Minnesota that was charging a $75 dock fee, this one gal who did the work, after all of her expenses were accounted for, and based on the vehicles the dealership sold in a calendar year, they made about $300,000 off of Anna's electronic filing fees, which were a dock fee, that they did at a rate of $75. So, Alan, what do you think they were doing to you at $899? And then they double dipped you and also called out an electronic filing fee, which is completely a scam. This electronic filing fee is something that we hear of commonly out of Florida and other areas down there, but it is entirely a scam, and there is a lot of information published on the web around this. What do you think they were doing to you with these two fees?
Clearly paying 3 other people's fees.
Yeah, they were taking me for as much as they could.
Now, what was he actually saying or explaining to you? Because this should be a full disclosure completely transparent process. You're sitting in a finance office where it's only you and him. He should be explaining everything to you. What did they actually explain?
Really didn't explain anything. It was as if the deal's already done. He asked for a warranty, and I said no right up front, as I don't get warranties on things. So basically, I think you kind of self-insure yourself. You don't need, especially you already have a manufacturer's warranty. Mm-hmm. And being an electric car, there's not much that can go wrong with it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel that I needed any type of a warranty. And it was basically just, sign here, and this is the contract.
So no explanation, just ask you to sign in a few different places, and you're out the door.
So
right.
He said that he didn't want an additional warranty, but yet he ended up with a $2,300 CPO fee where they included a warranty in with it.
Yes.
That is
actually very common. One of the typical comments that I get from car buyers all over the country is that they're saying no sometimes 5 or 6 times to the same pitch on the same product, commonly warranties, and then they go home and find out they have a warranty on their contract anyway. So having said no that many times, it's like these guys don't understand that little 2-letter word. But anyhow, let's go through the balance of these fees, because this is incredible. I would have probably gone over state lines and bought my car somewhere else. In Florida, you guys, it shows a registration fee of $333, a license fee of $366, sales tax of $1,256. I want to point out, though, that on the car contract, it showed this tax of being $700 and some bucks. Then it shows a vehicle state tax of $839, a county tax of $50, a local tax of $606. This comes up to the ballpark of around $3,500, doesn't it? What does this total out to? This is a big chunk of change. Yeah, it's in the neighborhood of $3,400 or $3,500 in taxes and fees added on by the state, if that is even legitimate. And then the other thing I want to mention, scroll down a little bit further, Kyle, you see a Hope Scholarship for $105. What did they tell you about a Hope Scholarship, Alan?
Absolutely nothing.
So you got a $105 fee for a Hope Scholarship. And then let's look at this bottom line here. So this, keep in mind, you guys, this was on an internet priced car at $13,426. Here's the total amount financed.
How many days have you owned the car now?
I bought the car on the 22nd of December, so it's been less than 2 weeks.
Do you like the car?
Oh, the car's very nice. I like the car.
I mean, are you gonna keep it? Are you gonna?
The best case scenario for me is if I could just go back and turn it in. I talked to the general manager, and I said that was what I would like to do. And he said, well, you can't do that.
Actually, you can do that.
He did say that they would take back that difference from the $23.45. The CPO price was only supposed to be, I believe, $299. So they were going to give me back the 19-something difference plus the 105. But the way that the finance manager said it was very fishy to me. Said, oh, well, I'm going to contact Nissan Finance and take that amount off. And, right up front he says, I don't have any authority to change contract or anything like that. And he said, well, the payments won't change, but that will be deducted off of the principal, so you'll be able to pay it out faster. Nothing in writing, just his word that he's going to do it, and I think there's something fishy there.
Well, a couple things that I want to capture really quick, Alan. He had told you when you called back on your first call to the dealership, he told you he didn't have the authority to change anything on this contract.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
So that is a bold-faced lie. This is the individual who had the authority to write the contract to begin with, wrote additional costs in here that he never explained to you at all. He had the authority to do all of that. He also has the authority to fix it. That is the office that every customer goes back into should they return back to the dealership to get their car contracts fixed. So his response to you that he doesn't have the authority to fix anything was completely BS, because the bottom line is he didn't want to fix anything. That's what he should have said. Chris.
I have a question for you. Do you have the certified pre-owned contract thing in your hand that describes to you what that is about? What I've seen is, if I go to the internet, I see the internet's telling me that if you buy a car, you're pretty much out of luck. You can't return it. But there are some exceptions, like the bad lemon law. Like if you bought the car and it was bad, then you would have an avenue of return there. It is also telling me here that if you have a certified pre-owned contract, which they added one for you, they said most of the time in there it says that if you do not like the car, you can return it. So I would be going over that portion of the contract there to see if that's in that contract, that you can return that if you don't like the car or not. So that's one thing that I can see that you can do here. The other thing is you can put them on blast, which is what we like to call blast, and you go to the internet like with what we're doing right now.
Do that today, Alan. Put them on blast and let them know that this kind of unethical behavior will not be tolerated.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing to know, and for the benefit of our viewers, Alan went and did this because I suggested this to him in comments that we traded back and forth here before the broadcast. But one of the things that you can do if you have a problem with a vehicle and with a dealer and you want to bring the car back, what you need to do is contact your state office with the VIN number of that vehicle and find out if the title and the documents have actually been transferred to you or not. It's a far more difficult thing to do once the actual transfers have happened. But for most people and in most states, that's a time period of 30 days. Okay? So for in Alan's case, he bought the vehicle back on the 22nd. You checked this out just the other day with the state of Florida offices, and they show that the vehicle is still titled to the dealership.
That's correct. I think it was on New Year's Day when I did it, so I wasn't able to talk to anybody. But I can call back and check on that further.
Okay, it maybe wouldn't be a bad idea, and then I would go back to this dealership and tell them, you know what, the vehicle's still titled to you guys. You screwed me over every which way from Sunday on this whole car deal, and you want to just return the car, get your money back, and start your car buying process over. You know what, this time, Alan, I got a hunch that you're going to be a more informed car buyer now than you were a couple weeks ago. Is that correct?
Well, that's for sure. I watch your videos after the fact. I wish I had watched them before the fact. But the thing you're saying about taking it back, the thing that I would be concerned about is I wrote a check for $5,000.
Right.
Suppose you write me a check, and then immediately after I leave the dealership, they stop payment on it. Some kind of shenanigans like that.
The problem.
What would my recourse be?
Yeah, I think if they attempted to do something like that, wow, they would. These guys are pretty unethical to begin with, but I don't think they want their dealership to be involved in a court proceeding over this whole situation. This could go sideways in a really, really bad way for them if they pulled that kind of stunt on you.
Definitely email this video link of the video to them too, so they can take a look at the video and see, because we'll do follow-ups on this.
Oh yeah, we absolutely will do follow-up on this, and
they have an opportunity to earn your business back and do the right thing, and I think that they should do that here. You know, I'm reading that a lot of car dealerships will take back their mistakes if you call them on it. So it sounds like he was willing to work with you a little bit. It sounds like he was willing to give you a couple grand back. Is that right?
That's right.
Routinely, Alan, there are probably, I don't know, half a dozen cars that get returned to car dealerships every single month, and maybe even more. But there are vehicles that are routinely returned back to a car dealership because of situations just like yours.
Okay. So your advice is to go back there and tell them I want to return the vehicle.
That's exactly what I'd be doing with this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would show them the homework that you've done, that you know the vehicle is still titled to them. They can unwind this thing in a heartbeat, and there is complete baloney that there would be some supposed difficulty with them contacting Nissan Finance and these other places. No, these guys do this all the time. You got up this morning as part of your routine. That's how routine this is for these guys. So
Okay, and the fact that they immediately gave me registration and tag, that doesn't play in. It's the title that's the important thing?
that is correct. And so that people in our viewing audience understand, because a lot of people misunderstand that when you have a loan on a vehicle and there's in this case, Nissan Finance that's involved, people think that Nissan Finance is the holder of the title or the dealer is the holder of the title till the loan is paid off. No, that's not the case at all. You, the customer, get the title. The title will be in your name, and on the title it will say that there's a lien on it and to specify who the lien holder is, and in this case, Nissan Finance. But yeah, the dealership will have no problem. This is a couple of simple phone calls for them to Nissan Finance, and to unwind this whole thing. All they have to do is take their gal, which it costs them a couple of bucks for them to go have their gal who filed this bogus electronic filing fee and this $899 doc fee. That same person can go back there and notify the state that the title is not transferring. It's a dead deal, just like that fast. So there's no reason for them whatsoever to give you a hard time on this thing. They screwed you over. They had no reason to do it. They ought to take this car back. And Alan, if you'd like to, we'd love to have you do a follow-up with us in a week, and let's see how this all works out. We'll give this dealership an opportunity to do the right thing.
Absolutely. Yes, I would like that. Kevin, I appreciate the work that you're doing to inform people about just these kind of things. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, everybody, we're going to take a short little coffee break. We'll be back here on Northwest Digital News in just a moment.
I can make it to